can sincerity create lasting happiness? That is what we're talking about today on Set to Love with author, speaker, and sincerity expert KK Shaw. Let's go.
My name is Eva Payne. Welcome to The Flow Life, where we define love as live open, value everything. On this podcast, you are dialed in and set to love. Let's go for a ride.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ava. It's great to see you always.
It is so great to see you again. I just love and adore you. You're so supportive on Instagram. You're like one of the most loving, supportive people. I love following you and I love getting all your feedback and all the stuff you post. So thank you so much. It really means a lot to me.
You betcha, girl. I'm always there for you. And you know, I'm so grateful and honored that you're having me this morning. And I'm so excited to share the 3 ways that sincerity really can create lasting happiness. But I'll always tell you in every one of the podcasts that we do together that I learned so much from you on your first book and your podcast about how, and you illuminated the fact that intuition creates flow, which is this positive energy that becomes the purpose, right? It broke through so many barriers for me. And it was such a relief because I thought, I'm not crazy because these things that I'm feeling are real, Yeah. But then in the Magic and Flow, which I love too, your brand new book, and I can't wait to talk to you about how that's going, is that your thoughts on empathy and being present. And I write about sincerity. A lot of our thoughts kind of align. So we have all these great things to talk about, which is great. And it's kind of, we're like lifting the vibration every day that we can, I just have to ask you, how is your second book going? Just before we
What
go.
are you asking me for? I'm the one interviewing you today.
I know, but I just think it's so exciting. I'm so exciting. I always want to hear about it,
Oh, it's going really well. I'm really grateful. I've been getting a lot of really good positive feedback from people who have read it. And I'm sure you feel the same way too. When you write something, you have no idea if it's going to benefit anyone. You think, well, it benefited me in the writing process. So I thought, gosh, even if no one else gets anything out of it, I got something out of it. But to hear someone else say they had an aha moment when they read something that you wrote, it just makes it so worth it. Like, really? I had an impact? Oh, yay. It just makes it so worth it. So yeah, thank you for asking. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. The journey is beyond. And because you go with your intuition and you just follow it and it nudges you forward, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And it's great to meet somebody that's going through the same thing.
Oh,
right. And you're also a mom too, which is incredible that you can get the books out with the kids too.
So, it takes a while. You can do it.
What's that?
I said it takes a while, but anyone can do it. It's not an overnight process.
You know why? Because we're driven, because there's no way that it's not going to happen. That's really kind of been my experience, So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how sincerity, empathy too, creates lasting happiness when we're happy for others.
Yeah.
1. Number 2, when we use emotional intelligence to guarantee success. And you absolutely mentioned this in Magic and Flow, but because it boosts our personal freedom, one of my favorite subjects, but then it really is starting to create a high vibration, a very, very high vibration, which we've been kind of hearing and learning about online lately. I think I have. So all the while understanding the power of trust and loyalty. That's a big one. And we always come back to that one because it's very, very telling. So
okay, before we jump into those, just for people who don't already know you, will you just give us like a 2-minute background on like why sincerity, why is this your jam, and a little bit about you and the work that you're doing, and then let's jump into these 3 points.
Absolutely. I grew up in a childhood. We say this all the time. I grew up in a neighborhood as a kid where I had childhood friendships that allowed me to grow and be who I was. And what it taught me to do is to give people their authentic power. And through my life, it seemed to be something that I could rely on. And my friendships were very, very strong because of this. It was a mindset of that we are here for other people. We are here for our friends, our family, of course, but our friends. And it created an unstoppable energy that I kind of used in my life. And when I was less sincere in my life, I don't know if I was as happy. And so when it all came around, I started a blog. We spoke about the backyard birds, the current events of the time, the cool ways to feel happy. And I seemed to develop a participative audience that seemed to really drive this point of sincerity, because it really seemed to be the only thing that I can rely on
Mhm.
when as I was growing, to sort of remove myself from my ego attachments that made me unhappy. And I just never wanted to be as self-involved as I could be, because the universe will not really give you the happiness that you're looking for. And that's really how it all started. It started from a blog. We started self-publishing the books. Social media like ignited it, and it's just like this locomotive train that,
Mhm.
we're on this train, and I'm on this wonderful podcast with you.
I love that. I'm so excited for you. And it really is such an important topic. And like you said, a lot of things that you talk about are in alignment with a lot of the things that I believe or have written about. And isn't it interesting how when something wants to come into humanity's awareness, it utilizes any available person who is willing to be open to the message. It's like you were just looking, how can I serve, right? Where's my place to teach from and to share from? And sincerity was that thing. Like flow for me I just kept hearing it, seeing it, whatever. And sincerity was that thing for you. But how it all works together is so beautiful. And I just love that. And so I'm so grateful that you listened to your intuition and that you went down this road of sincerity, because it is so important for us to be able to be sincere with people.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about it here, but people like kind of think that sincerity is a choice. And I'm like,
Mhm.
are you kidding? Don't you listen? Don't you see the karma? Aren't you mindful of the universe and the way it works? Because I am, and I'm never going to mess with the universe again, because I brought myself, it all comes down to ourselves. And I kind of brought myself unhappiness at a time when it wasn't really necessary. And I think people think it's a choice. I'm like, all right, if you think insincerity is the way to go, well, good luck with that, you
Mhm.
know? And I just say to them, you really just want to be really mindful of your karma, because it will come and find you. Because I think the universe wants the best for us, but we must do the work, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I agree. And I really believe when we're showing up to the best of our ability, the universe will match that. So, as long as you're showing up in love and kindness and doing the best you can, and we can't always be like
Nope.
super bubbly and nice and optimistic, because sometimes life is hard, and being sincere might be being sad like today, like I'm just going to be honest with you about that, or how I feel for you. Or being really happy for, maybe things aren't going as so great for me, but things for you are going really well, and being happy for you about that, instead of feeling that envy or that jealous. It's like we invite in these low level feelings and emotions that don't serve us, don't make us feel good, right? And then it's like we're not supporting other people, we're not building them up. So let's talk about that, being happy for other people. Why is that one of your points, and how do you see that translating into the world?
I just think that, it's so powerful. And I'm going to go back to you for a second. I hope it's okay, because in your magic and flow, you write about, but and then we're going to start rolling, because you write that empathy, it's very, very similar to sincerity. And it's being willing to let down all of our expectations and attachments to see someone else's lens and see their heart and their experiences, and send them love and wish them well. And I love that, because empathy is like sincerity, we honor this energy to another person, and it feels right somehow. In a
Mhm.
strange way, it just feels like a relief, like it's natural. Then we could just get over ourselves. And I
Wow.
think the idea of sincerity, like empathy, can help us detach from self importance and create positive karma, you know? And when we're understanding others, it means we're loving ourselves enough to lift them. When I love myself enough, and this always comes from a place of strength, we've already gone through the days where we don't love ourselves that much, and we all know how productive that is. And it means that I'm strong, and it comes from a place of strength, and I'm trying to be stronger than I was yesterday. And, I am reaching for my dreams, but I'm going to wish somebody well, because I think being happy for others, and you're going to love this, is the greatest gift that I can give to myself, because it creates the greatest energy that could possibly exist. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's also like it's more basic than honoring somebody and congratulating them for their success or good fortune, because if we're loving, we're accepting them for who we are, and it means we're not judging and we're not attaching to what anyone is doing ever. Right. I think a lot of spiritualists are trying to teach us this. And it's kind of saying it says everything about us,
Yeah.
and it's just like being who we really are comes from being free of judgment. Right. And how, as humans, how are we going to manage that without being judgmental? We're not the most judgmental people in the world, but we find ourselves in that headspace at times, like, give it up for that person. It's theirs. They deserve it, And
Yeah.
so to belong, I think secretly we all really want to belong somewhere, but you
Mhm.
cannot truly belong somewhere without freedom of judgment. And that's where the super energy begins, because when we believe in others without question, and it creates a trusting, loyal bond that is very strong and very fulfilling.
Mhm.
And you might know this guy, and just stop me when I keep talking and talking, but you're
You're
from
good.
Southern
You're
California.
good.
You're from Southern California, and I always give codas to my friends who turn me on to this guy. But he wrote one of the greatest stories in the world, Joseph Campbell. Do you know who he
Oh,
is,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
He
Hero's
wrote
journey.
The Man of a Thousand Faces. He spoke to Bill Moyers about how poetry, archaeology, politics, mythology is just this big grand scheme of the universe that we're living in, right?
Mhm.
And he said, and we'll never forget it, is that the privilege of a lifetime is being who we are. And we all
Mhm.
know that takes a lifetime to find, but when you finally get there, you have found your greatest treasure. It's yourself. It's up to us. So we
You are
all
so
are,
right.
right? And so we're all in fear of judgment. I am too, because sometimes people kind of know things better than me, but it's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen. People are going to judge us. And you know what? We should use that judgment to grow. Sometimes when people tell us something, it's like, you know what? You're right. What am I going to be defensive of you because you're disagreeing with me? Or else we
Mhm.
just learn to let judgment go. Right?
Yeah. And feedback is
Um,
a really good
and it's
feedback is a good loop to have. It's important to be open to feedback. And for those people who are judging, I always just think like, hey, you might be projecting something, or, you don't have that grace and space to allow people to be on their own journeys. I always just go like, we're all on our own journeys. I don't know. I didn't walk in your footsteps every step of your life. I couldn't possibly know why you make the decisions you make or how you feel the way you feel because of a million choices that have been made. So just allowing everyone to be on their own journey, which is what I hear you saying, is really
Mhm.
important. Right.
Right.
And
But you
then
know what, too? Yeah. Mhm.
when we do feel that jealousy or we do feel like envious, I've heard this before and I thought this was brilliant. It's like it's pointing at something that you want, something that
Mhm.
like you should be thinking. If you're jealous of something, then like, okay, go after it. Nobody's stopping you from having that great relationship or that great job or that physical fitness or that mindset. If you see someone else has something, it's an indicator to
Right.
yourself. Maybe you should work on something right there, right? So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
friend to feel those little feelings like, oh, that's a place I could grow, and good for them and on their journey. And you never know how long it took them to get there or the strifes and struggles they went through to get there, right? So allowing that space for everyone. So beautiful.
Absolutely. Right. And some people are afraid to fail, but we're not afraid to fail anymore. We already done that.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow. Because if you don't try things and flop, then you don't learn. And we're done with that, because we fail all the time. And it's great. And so
So
some of the examples I use, and it's a very heavy time in our history right now, but it's like the sincerity and strength that even soldiers have in the war, every war, there for each other. Their life is on the line. They care so much for each other, and they hold each other in their hearts for a lifetime about it. And people are just like, how are you so close to somebody? We have it with our mom friends. It's all for the goodwill of the kids, right? But we're so intense and we're so real, and we'll talk about everything, right? And
Mhm.
it brings out the best in us when
Mhm.
it's not about us. It's also teenagers and their commitment to their group of friends, which come back to them. It comes back to them, but it's like, it's their intensity, but it's kind of for the group. It's not necessarily them. The self-centered kids are the ones that really can't like be in the group, because to be in the group is like a job on some level. And it's also
Mm,
another cool idea I thought about too, was it's like a neighborhood looking out for each other every single day. Like, are you guys okay? What do you need? And it's
mhm,
those kind of scenarios that kind of bring us together through kindness and make us stronger, which is what I'm gonna, I'm trying to say. Um, Another great lesson of being happy for people, is that ta-da, I'm finally not making it about me, right? Because we all know that road when we make everything about ourselves. Because at
mhm.
some point, we're going to have to lose self-importance if the journey to happiness is what we want. And this
Yeah.
may be selfish. This is a heavy one too. You might like this. But I think, like, in a weird way, I use sincerity to create good karma, because I don't want to F with the universe ever again. I'm not talking bad about people. I'm never going to say anything mean about somebody in public. I'm going to wish you well, because you know what? You're going to do it. And if I don't support you, right? And I feel like it
Mhm.
might be a little selfish thing, but I want to be aligned. I don't want to be on the edge anymore, because we all know at our age, the edge will be there if you're not mindful. That's why I say to people, and this is what we say, it's like, I'm becoming more aware of what the energy that actually exists in the world, which
Mhm.
is more, actually more than how I perceive it should be. And it's creating more of a strong embodied community relationship I have with communities, and I
Mhm.
have to pay it forward, right? And so what's the best way to pay it forward? Giving each other compliments.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Yeah.
grew up telling everybody they're great. I go, I love your makeup. I like your hair. Look what you did. And when
Mhm.
we reach out to someone with kind thoughts and words to tell them that they're awesome, because they are,
Mhm.
that's what we're going to do. And people are like, well, why would you do that? Why do you're pumping sunshine up people's butts? I'm like, I'm not doing that out of sincerity for my own gain. I would never
Right.
do that. Is that the right karmic thing? No.
Right.
And so I think that we don't really compliment people that much. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, because it takes away from us? God forbid, right? That's
No,
another
I
like
think
little ego thing.
it's also fear though. I think people are afraid. The other day I just told my boyfriend, I said, I met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in an airport and I gave him stuff on the summer camp that I run. I said, that was so terrifying for me. This was like 10 years ago or something. And he's like, you talk to people all the time. You talk to random people all the time. And I said, yeah, but not back then. 10 years ago, it was really hard for me to speak in public to random people. I may have thought something or seen a kind act and wanted to compliment someone, or thought something about a friend and wanted to say how proud of them I was, or how great or how
Yeah.
wonderful they looked or acted. And I just wouldn't do it because I thought either A, they're not going to care, the moment passed, or I was afraid because I just didn't want to, that might sound weird or whatever. And then I just stopped with all of that and just started listening to my intuition and giving out the compliment when it came in. And I can't even tell you, I've had people cry in front of me because it was what they needed to hear, like the cashier, at the Bevmo or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
really powerful experiences because I spoke what was on my mind in a loving, sincere way that was helpful for someone else, and it was super powerful. So yeah, I love that point.
You know what we say about that? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's not about me.
Yeah.
Isn't it great? I can't understand, like, what's it going to kill me to tell somebody they're awesome, because they are.
Yeah.
Why am I here? So someone can tell me it doesn't feel as good. It feels better when you tell them and how they light up. That's what it
Mhm.
is. You know, so what I say is, how people say spread kindness like confetti. I'm like, why don't you spread some compliments like confetti? And then we
Yeah.
really blow it up with kindness, right?
Right, instead of
I
being
don't know.
mean,
Maybe I'm
instead of
not
like
like that.
attacking on social media, maybe we could like say something nice or don't say something at all. It's just people
Who's
really,
being
it's just
mean?
weird that they feel like
Right.
they can be so
Who's
mean.
being mean in public? And honestly, like,
Mhm.
why am I friends with somebody on Facebook so I can't like their stuff? I'm all day long like, go, 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 go. I'm like, then why bother? But then you see that they group you. I'm just like, it's also insincere, right? And I
Mhm.
think that might be the next, because when we're, and this is a great, like, in sum on being happy for others. When we're strong enough to have self-esteem, and be in genuine delight of others' dreams and goals or whatever it is that is theirs.
Mhm.
And we're happy for them and we honor it, which I've seen many times with people in my life who I love them for. We bond with genuine loyalty that creates a strong, empowered, high
Mm.
vibrational energy. And it's amazing.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
amazing. I mean, what's it going to kill us to be happy for somebody? Right?
No, I liked what you said. You talked about confidence. You mentioned that having it's I think it really takes
Self
having
esteem.
confidence in yourself, self-esteem in yourself, knowing what your talents are, your skills, your gifts, believing in yourself. Because when you don't believe in yourself, then it's really easy to pick on other people, right? Because it's really hard to want to be happy for other people when you don't really think good about yourself. But when you know that you have value to add, then you can be happy for other people so much easier because you're like, let them do their thing. I'm going to do my thing over here. They're on their journey. I'm on mine. We're all serving in our own unique ways. And isn't that beautiful?
It just
But yeah,
feels right for some reason. And
yeah,
that, and it's an amazing energy. And so on the other hand, now
yeah.
we have the buzzkill of all buzzkills, which
Okay.
is insincerity.
Mhm.
Insincerity, right? We're going on the up here, but this is a very good one too. And it's like when our words, actions, and thoughts are not in alignment. And I think it's
Mhm.
based on self-importance. It's
Mhm.
based on self-importance on some level because we're not like exact. Look at the world right now. The world wants us to all think and act and be like them, and it's not working. It's not working at all. And I just think we're genuinely lost without sincerity because there's no foundation to support what is real love or kindness or respect. And all of these traits and characteristics are necessary to be happy and successful. Success is
Mhm.
happiness, I think. And, again, like humans seem to believe that insincerity is a choice. And I'm like, if you don't think the universe is listening, I think that it is. And like we spoke about, we are never going to mess with insincerity or being self-involved again because we've gone down that road and it just didn't make me happy at
Mhm.
all when I made everything about me. And I'm like, when people say this, like, okay, you're it's not for real. I'm like, you're not mindful of the universe and karma, honestly. Like for me, it just guides me on my path and it's really where I need to be. And I'm not messing with the universe ever again because it just didn't make me happy. And like we were saying, like some of the examples that we can think about, it's like being unsupportive of other people's goals and dreams. Let's say we knew somebody growing up and they said, I'm going to be an airline pilot. And we're like, oh, okay. Okay, sure, go ahead. Sure enough, they became an airline pilot. Like every time people, when they say it, it's happening, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Withholding compliments. I really kind of see that too much. Like I can't understand how people can't say like, "You look nice today. I like your buttons. I like the buttons on your coat. They look
Mhm.
great." What's it going to kill me? Just to light somebody up, right? You ask us that all the time. What lights you up?
Yeah. Do you know, I just saw the other day, and I think I posted it like in the story, but it talked about all these ways. Cause I always think when I think of complimenting people, I do initially my mind goes to like, oh, their hair looks nice today, or the outfit looks nice on them. But this particular post that someone put together, it was like how to compliment someone on all of like more of action items, like things that they're doing. I wish I could find that again, but it was so powerful because I thought, wow, what a way to like really look at how someone is showing up in the world and complimenting that, complimenting just their goodness, their wholeness, their love, their patience, their peace, their grace, how they show up for other people, filling needs, being of service, like really looking at those ways and like thanking them and complimenting them for showing up, in that kind of a way. I thought that was so powerful. Like, of course, I know that, but to see someone really point that out in these different ways, like a compliment doesn't have to just be about the way you look. And I went, wow,
Yes. Oh
of
yeah.
course,
It's
and
beautiful.
I knew that, but it was just like that click, that aha moment for me.
It's so beautiful. I love that because then it keeps people going. Then you're like, you know what? I can keep going. Just give everybody a little push. They don't
Yeah.
ask. They don't even ask for much. Just give
Yeah.
them a little
No,
something,
I
and then
do
they're
that
like,
with my kids a lot. I'll say things like, you're really creative. I love how creative you are. your mind, the way it works, it impresses me so much. And they're genuinely skills and things that are really good for, like my one kiddo is like ridiculously creative. So that's why I just told him yesterday, he goes, I know you're going to tell me I'm creative. He's 10. I'm like, Dawson, you don't understand. Like, most people, let's say their creativity is here. You're like here. I can see how a step above you are in this realm. The things that your mind can think of and you can build with your hands, like you genuinely, this is a gift of yours. And so I
Imagination,
want him
yes.
to be able to see what his gifts are, what his talents are. And I'm super sincere about it. And I feel like no matter what happens in life, he's going to know that his mom thought he was a very creative person. And, hopefully a lot of other things, but that's one of the things that, like, dang, that just jumps out at me since like birth. So when we can notice those gifts in our kiddos and our friends and our coworkers and really point them out in a sincere way, when it's not just like, oh, you're creative, when maybe everyone's creative. But
Yeah.
when you're just saying it because like it just sounds good, but when you genuinely mean it, you're really looking for something that person exemplifies and pointing it out, it just raises them to this whole new level. I
Raising the
know
vibration.
right?
Raising the vibration. I love
Yes.
that. Right. Keep going and just notice. I always tell people, because they always say, like, what's our purpose? But, I didn't know what the purpose was because I was in sales, and purpose. Is it supposed to be a charity? I didn't know. But I think what it is what we focus on. What we focus on seems to be, because we spend a lot of time in our lives like trying to figure out what our purpose is. But for me, yours is intuitive, magical energy. But for me, it's like focus, because I'm not the most focused person in the world at all. Have to work on it very hard. But that's just like a cool thing to, recommend to your beautiful, creative child. What do you focus on, bud? Because what kind of creativity will it become? Painting or, it's so fun.
Talking
The
about
imagination.
NFTs. He
The
was like,
imagination.
talk about NFTs. I'm like, wait, Dawson, you could design them. Like, you're so good. You could create something and then sell it. And he's like, oh, maybe. I'm like, he's going to go be a
Say to
millionaire
him,
designing something.
right. Tell him, look at this book. I made this book, and it's living. You know what I mean? It's living. It will always be there, and it's yours to sell instead of selling somebody else's thing.
That.
And just one of the last things on Sincerity, because it's a big thing now, and for us empath, like sincere people, gaslighting. What does that mean? It is the most insincere thing I have ever witnessed, and there's no humble in gaslighting, because I don't see really good karma coming from that. And does it divide us? I think being insincere is very dividing. And it's such a huge problem with humans and our communities, because it's never real, because people are so self-involved in their own reality, or kind of what they expect their reality to be, or they're insecure to judge others, that they can't develop a wonderful connection or belong. And they're kind of unhappy about it, but they can't figure out what it is. Because people like you and me, we belong for real, And as I did say in SIP, I think I brought this up at the last podcast. It's so funny, but it's what I said in SIP of Sincerity is the more we judge, the less friends we have. And it's true. Like, are we going to judge somebody because they're hanging out with this one or they're going away with this one? No. And we're going to be happy for them. You go have a good time. That's it. Because when I go away, you'll be happy for me too. You see how we work the sincerity to our benefit, but still, people aren't connected because they allow their self-importance, the relentless self-importance, to get in the way. That's what I've noticed.
Wow. That comes to mind for me is I think about how sometimes I think Brene Brown talked about this at one point, where she said, if you're willing to talk about someone, like if you and I were sitting here, girlfriends, and we're talking about Mary over here, then that gives me the indication that you or me or both of us are willing to go talk about the other one of us to other people. It's like, if you're willing to be in the gossip pool, then you are someone who probably gets gossiped about and are willing to do it around anyone in this group. And when you cut that out of your life, it's amazing how it just disappears. Like gossiping and when I was in high school was probably something that was very normal. And once I started to grow up a little bit and realize this doesn't really feel so good, and I don't like talking about people bad, I don't like bonding over gossiping about people. Like if
It's
that's what our connection is forged in, it's not a real connection. That is not a sincere, as you would say, connection, right? Like,
yeah.
um, and so when we can take that off the table and now we're just building from this place of building people up instead of tearing people down, then all of a sudden your friend group changes, whether the people in the group just evolve or those people, the gossipers, sort of find their way out. Like they don't like you anymore and you don't really like them either. So it kind of just works out and you move away slowly and new people come in, right? Like the new energy, the new supportive people. It's so amazing how when you are sincere, what does karma give you? What does the universe give you? More sincere people into your own life.
Please God, yes, yes. And it doesn't feel good. You know, when you have like a session, and you're just like, wah, 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 wah. And then you're
Mhm.
like, that doesn't feel good. I shouldn't have said those things. Something just doesn't feel right. And I guess it's the universe saying, like, you know, mind your P's and Q's, KK. Don't be saying those things. You know,
Do you know, I've caught myself on that. I have, like, I'll say it, not that I've never gossiped, but a
yeah,
couple months ago, I was talking to a friend about someone on social media who I don't even really even know. And it wasn't like we were gossiping, but we were kind of critiquing their approach to things. And I got off the phone and I kind of felt icky about it. Like the way that we sort of were talking. So then I messaged her back and I said, I feel really bad about saying, I'm going to take that back. Like I caught myself in what I was saying and then apologized and thought, I'm not going to do that again. Like, even though it wasn't so bad, it was still like dipping my toe into that gossipy negativity pond a little bit. And afterwards, because of that feeling, because I didn't feel so good inside, I thought, oh no, I'm right now nipping this in the bud. I'm apologizing for it. I'm going to make amends. And like, because I didn't want this person to think, well, if she's saying this about her, what is she saying about me? Because that's what went through my mind. I thought, oh no, Eva, you're
right.
this is not good. Go back and make this right. You
Right.
know, so
Yeah,
we're not perfect. We're going to mess up. We're going to do things, but catching yourself and being willing to own your shortcomings, I think is a big part of being sincere.
absolutely. And we can be trusted, right? It's a lot of
Mhm.
people I like, but I don't trust them, right? There's a lot of people
Mhm.
like, I like you, but I don't trust you. There's only certain people as we get older who are really gonna, or, you know, our husbands have to hear it all, but, you know, just very, very small group of people that you can just become unhinged with. And
Mhm.
I just think that, you know, you'll be trusted better if we just kind of remove that exactly what we're agreeing on. And so I love this.
Mm.
And it's when I'm
Mm.
happy for others, we're
Yes.
having a sincere exchange. It's a natural energy and it's actually a treasure we long for. I think people don't understand it. They can't, it's not that they don't understand it, but they long to belong. They want to be in a tribe where they're not judged so they can be exactly who they are. But what it
Mhm.
is the sincerity begins and the empathy create the kindness, which makes
Mhm.
us stronger, which
Mhm.
unites us.
Mm.
And we love that.
Wow. 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 Oh my gosh. I love so many of the things that you say. It's just like nugget of just like such beautiful information. Can we talk for a second about you talked a little bit before we came on about understanding trust. Can you and we you touched on trust just a little bit here in the end. So
Mhm.
can we talk a little bit more about trust and how trust plays into sincerity?
Trust is the foundation. Sincerity is the foundation of trust. Trust is the foundation of sincerity. And it's
Mm,
a positive human trait that we need to rely on. I mean, I think that corporations, I think governments, I think marriage, I think every friendship group has
mhm,
got to rely on trust because I had to look up what trust and loyalty, like what they meant. And loyalty is the, you know, trust is earned by loyalty, by loyal behavior. And it's
mhm,
like something we have to rely on because I think we're struggling with the mindset set of this because our ego has shown up with relentless self-importance all day long. It's our egos are kind of eating us alive. And it surprises me because I don't think that the universe wants this from us. I don't think the universe wants us to behave in this self-important way. And trust is the most it's the most like important characteristic that we look for in everybody. Like we can't really work without it. If you're not loyal, I can't trust you. If you're insincere, I can't trust you. If you're not in alignment with words, thoughts, and actions, I can't really work with it. Everybody has that in their marriages, with their friends. Family is different, but I just think outside where we search for being social, trust and loyalty are even as top as, how good looking you are or something. And I
Mm.
just feel like, sincerity is a foundation of trust because I said what I was going to do,
Mhm.
and I said what we were going to do. I wish you well in your dreams. You can
Mhm.
trust me that when I'm happy for you, it's real. I'm not going to have any other conversations about only the one that we're speaking about. And we're accepting everybody as they are. We can be trusted to give a shit about you when we say it. If we don't say it, it might mean that that's true too. And
Yeah.
so it gives us the opportunity to honor others, to nurture them, to wonder with them, to keep secrets with. Like people tell me stuff I will never tell anybody. I won't even tell my mom, right?
Mhm.
Because I want them to trust me. That's
Yeah.
kind of what my thing is. And to have warm, loving heart, warm, loving thoughts towards people. You say that to feel joy, to laugh with people is a very strong, but it's a fulfilling bond when you
Mhm.
trust somebody, right? And it's a peaceful emotional connection. I think you said that also in the Magic of Flow. And it's a friendship where we're belonging again. The trust. You cannot trust somebody unless you are free of judgment. You cannot
Mhm.
be who you are unless you trust somebody. It's like this triangle or whatever. But
Yeah.
trust is the most important thing in any collaboration, any business, any friendship. And there's a lot of insincerity where it gets broken. And I'm thinking, how can you let that happen? You have to hang on for the sake of your own happiness because we have friendships that are lasting. I think you grew up in very similar neighborhoods than me, where I'm going to do everything I can for this friendship because it's brought me happiness for so long. It might be different because I've changed. I had a baby at 44, so all my shenanigans are over. But I will always try to make my friends happy or try to honor them. Even if we have a disagreement, I want to be sorry because I want to get to the other side. And I don't care if I'm right or wrong. And it's
Mm.
just like, that's the kind of trust that's, because my friends were like, hey, KK, I don't know if you're really that sincere. And I said, well, all right. If you want to think that, I will be here for you when it's over. And that's fine.
Mhm.
And she said, well, wow. Because I didn't get mad back. I'm not getting mad back at people I love. I'm not
Mhm.
doing it unless it's really bad. But the trust is the
Yeah.
foundation of sincerity. When we're empathizing with people, trust, loyalty are it's powerful. And again, it's the sincerity that opens the door, it's the kindness that manages it, and it's the lasting happiness that becomes what it is, and it makes us stronger because we all know the power of kindness. Look at how devastated the world is right now because we're not acting in a kind way.
Yeah.
But the kindness also has uprooted itself on another level because I think people are wonderful and amazing. I know there's a lot of people that are selfish and stuff, but I think people are wonderfully grand, wonderfully beautiful, wonderfully smart that make me laugh and smile all day. And I always call everybody a lamb. And one of the moms was like, hey, Kate, why do you call people a lamb? I was like, we're lambs before we become wolves.
You're so fun. Yeah, you called me a lamb the other day and you're like, all right, sweet lamb or something like that.
Lamb.
I'm like, oh,
And
I love her.
my friend used to call her husband that in San Francisco. And I just thought it was the dearest thing I ever heard. She taught me
Aw.
so many things. And I just thought, like, where's my head been? Right. And so trust, the power of it
Yeah.
is, because you can't break through that. But it's getting broken much more than I think because trust is broken a lot. And that's from just not having a sincere alignment, right? Words,
Mhm.
thoughts, actions. I'm like, you can say one thing, but you're gaslighting me with these other actions. And I'm on to you. And you know what? I won't say a word, but you're not going to get the cherry on top of my love and sincerity. You'll see, you'll feel it, you
Mhm.
know? And it's all comes from kind of being like self-important, like what I'm doing, like, oh, look at you failing. I'm like, well, I'm failing and having a great time. So I don't know what you're doing over there. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think
We
as
don't care. We don't
entrepreneurs,
care
we
anymore.
fail a lot. Like, I can't tell you how many times I failed at things. But for me, I'm so much happier doing creative things in this entrepreneurial space than I would be working 9 to 5 at a corporation where I'm getting up and I'm putting on a suit and I'm going into an office and I'm building up someone else's dream or desires. I would rather fail at my own dreams than uh, work somewhere that I wasn't in alignment with, unless it was like a company or something that I thought this is the best thing ever and these people are amazing. But a lot of people want that security. They feel really comfortable there. That's their zone, and that's totally great because every company needs worker bees. But for me, I love being that creative self. So I will fail 100 times, and I already have, and I probably will continue. But I don't even see it as failing. In my mind, I see it as it's like I tried something and I take what works and I leave the rest and I build something new with that. And then I take out what works and leave the rest and build something. So it's like an evolution of myself and my journey versus I did this and it failed and throw it out and then start over new. And then this didn't work and throw it out. But even if it was like that, I'd still be okay with it. But it's just fun.
Because you're learning what it takes to get there. And it all means something. And the ones that are the bravest, just, you know what, and keep going. Don't give up. Because sometimes we're like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I have to stop. Right. And then you think, God, if I would have, because maybe we're a little early in the game. Right. This whole self-publishing thing is so early in the game, it seems. And I'm just like, well, the only way it's going to work is if I never stop doing it. And that's what's just going to have to happen. Just going to keep going and going and going.
Right? I love that. Okay, let's talk about the self-publishing thing. So I was trying to figure out how to pull up so I could show your book, but I don't want to mess up our stream. So I'm sure you have a copy. And so
I have the SIP one right here. I don't have my other one.
I love it. It is so beautiful. Do you want to flip it open so people can see just like how?
Oh, yes.
Look.
Right here. I become myself when I do not focus on myself. How much do we love that? Let's do another one.
Let's do another.
Yeah, I think that was on the left. Ooh, the more I reach, the more I fail, and then it gets better. Do you love that?
I do. I really do. The more I reach, the more I fail. And then it gets better. You're right, because that's been my journey, man. I have reached and failed and failed. And then I'm like, yes, but I learned something here, and then I'm able to teach it. So like just before our call here, I was helping someone with like Google domains, how to build a website. I just learned myself. I don't know, but I was able to pass on just a little bit of information to get someone else going. And so that feels so good to be able to assist and help someone else. So even in my own journey and fails, I learn, and then I'm able to teach and share with someone else. It's like, all right, I didn't just go through that for myself. I went through that so that I could help someone else not make the same mistakes.
And it's going to come around and you're going to learn how to do it and teach other people.
Yep. Yeah. It's a beautiful process.
I love that.
And where is your book available? Where can people find it? And how can people connect with you?
My book's on Amazon. It's on Amazon, KDP. It's on Target website and also barnesandnoble.com.
Love it. That's so beautiful. And then how do people connect with you online?
Just lately it's been Instagram. Instagram seems to be the home. I guess that's where it was. The old website's under construction, but we're getting that up because we're going to just have to amp it up, raise the vibration, raise it up. But
Instagram, if you want some help with that, I did just I can walk you through how to build a site using Google domains and Google sites.
How cool. Well, the thing is that it was on WordPress and then it went down and then we paid. It's still not up. So we're trying to find our way in getting it up. Websites are funny, but
Instagram. I love Instagram. That is my favorite platform.
Me too. TikTok's good fun too. Have you been on TikTok?
Yeah, I get sucked in, and I don't like being sucked in. I like Instagram because I can flip through a little bit and then I can go, okay, I'm over it. And I don't have to feel like I need to keep scrolling. And on TikTok, it's an hour later. I'm like, what have I done? I just wasted an hour of my life doing nothing. And then I always want to share things with people. So then I want to waste their time. Because I'm like, oh, someone else has to share this funny thing with me. I can't be the only one who sees this video. But I do that on Instagram Reels too. So I guess TikTok and Instagram Reels, they both kind of suck me in. So I I try not to spend too much time on those,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's a good Sunday pastime.
But it's such good fun. Like everybody says that like social media, I'm like, I think it's the most wonderful, fun place in the world. I've made just great friends.
Me
I
too.
I think people are wonderful. I do. That's it, right?
Yeah. I believe you. I believe in humanity. I believe in us. And when I get to meet people like you and I see that, like going back to the beginning of our conversation, when there's something that wants to be created, it will utilize humans who are open-minded to whatever that is. And right now, it's like you said, raising the vibration,
Yeah,
bringing sincerity, bringing this flow, bringing this love. Like we've just been down for so long. It feels like my entire life I have been hearing people say, let's make it better. Let's make it better. Let's make it better. And like the systems have just been going down, not necessarily improving. I mean, some things tech has improved, but you look at like political system, social system, education, so many things, pharmaceutical, healthcare, it's just hot messes, right? So
yeah,
how do we improve those? And I think it starts with this mindset. It starts with this being sincere. It starts with how you're showing up for yourself and how you're showing up for your friends and your families and your coworkers, whoever they are, or your entrepreneurial solo self and who you're influencing in whatever spaces you're in. And so when you
absolutely.
come from that sincere place, that's the ripple you let off, and hopefully that will impact these systems that just need an evolution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, a friend of mine, what happened was as soon as we self-published Sincerity, it was like just projects started coming out of the wall. And two of my close friends were teachers, and one of them is a track coach. And I've been putting together the presentation for her teenage girls of It's Up to Me. And
Mm.
I did an art show also called Happiness is Up to Me. And so when we take the responsibility to try to make things better, share our thoughts with people, but like really taking responsibility on a very high level, then we can probably get some good results too.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know,
I totally agree. I totally agree. Absolutely. For sure. 100%. Well, thank you so much for this work that you're doing in this space. It's such
you
an honor
too.
and privilege to know you. Thank you for honoring me in my book in this conversation, even
I
though it wasn't
have to.
supposed to
I'm
be about
sorry. I
me.
just have to. That's the way it's going to be because you have so many wonderful things to say, and you're like this wonderful butterfly out there, and you're
Aw.
so positive. You're a mom. You're a mom, and I always believe in my sisters.
Oh, I love you so much. Well, it's an honor to have you in my corner, and I'm happy to be in yours and supporting you and your journey as well. So thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. And thanks everyone out there for being here on Set to Love today and for hanging out with us. And check out KK Shaw on Instagram. You can find her book, Barnes & Noble, Target, Amazon. It's a beautiful coffee table book, a beautiful gift to give to anyone. Just something so wonderful to share. Find someone who just needs a little bit of love, a little bit of pick me up, and order one for them. I think giving like a gift like this is such a thoughtful thing to share with someone. And so if you know someone in your life who could benefit from KK's book, please get it and pass it on. And KK, again, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for you.
I'm
Have a
grateful for
good
you
day.
too. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.